Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Smell My Finger Guns, and we're going to be getting back into producing some content here. I've had a very hectic few months starting out in 2021, but I want to get back on the road. Speaking of getting back on roads, Final Fantasy 15 is a game that is very near and dear to my heart, and I thought it would be... What is happening? It would be a good deal of fun to play it with you guys. To initiate the tutorial now. I think it'd be fun to play through Final Fantasy 15. I like to play through this game about once every year or so, and I think it's that time again. Last time I was uploading was like 6 months ago. I was doing some Return to Drangleic stuff, and that didn't really pan out too well. I recorded way more than I actually uploaded, but I was having issues with my phone and getting stuff uploaded, and it's very roundabout the way that I need to upload things right now because my internet is very terrible. We're in the process of trying something new, but it's not going very well, and my hopes are not very high, basically. So this is the story of Noctis Lucis Calum. Little intro here. Oh, that sensitivity is very high. Higher than I expected it to be. Not really a whole lot to do here.
Hang in there, buddy. Stay down. We'll keep him busy. Before he strikes again.
Kind of just a small intro to the four main characters. Potion. All right, let's go. Let's do this. So a small introduction to the game. The four main characters kind of give you a taste of what's to come.
The decreed hour is come. Set forth
Absolutely
with my blessing,
gorgeous
Prince Noctis.
cinematics in this game.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
Take your leave and go in the grace of the gods.
Right.
I gotta say, Square Enix spares no expense when it comes to these pre-rendered cinematics. Do a great job with animations and just how everything looks.
Princes will be princes. So much for royal protocol.
Not like you had to deliver a formal address.
Your Highness!
What now?
I fear I have left too much unsaid. You place a great burden on those who would bear with you.
You're one to talk.
I ask not that you guide my wayward son, merely that you remain at his side.
Indeed, Your Grace.
We'll see the prince to Alticia if it's the last thing we see.
Yeah, what he said. Hate to break this up, but Kor's got the motor running. Stratos, he's in your hands.
And another thing. Do mind your manners around your charming bride-to-be.
Your Majesty as well. Try to mind yours around our esteemed guests from Niflheim.
You have no cause for concern.
Nor do you.
Take heed. Once you set forth, you cannot turn back.
You think I would?
I need only know that you are ready to leave home behind.
Don't know about you, but I'm ready as I'll ever be.
Take care on the long road. Wheresoever you should go, the line of Lucis goes with you. Walk tall, my son.
It's one of the few intro cinematics that I actually very rarely skip just because I love it so much. So it's a very powerful moment in the story, especially with retrospect, knowing what happens to the characters and how the story unfolds. There's a lot that's King Regis, Noctis's father, current sitting king of Insomnia, the kingdom of Lucis. And he says a lot in that cinematic, and Noctis doesn't really understand what he's being told there. But hindsight, of course, is 20/20. So knowing what I know, obviously, I understand that there's a lot of gravity behind King Regis's words, and the other character in that cinematic, other than the four main characters in Regis, is Drados. He is part of the Kingsglaive, and spoiler alert. But you know what? If you haven't, go watch the movie Kingsglaive, and you'll learn more about Drados.
I think we can forget about hitching our way there. Thought people were friendly outside the city.
You can only go so far on the kindness of strangers.
You're just gonna have to push her all the way.
I've already pushed myself to the brink of death.
Get up. Come on, car isn't gonna move itself.
Sheesh. I thought the car was supposed to move us.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Can it? Ready, steady. Push!
An excellent intro to basically the dynamic of the group, and just kind of sets the theme for a lot of the game, starting off broken down on the side of the road here.
Not exactly a fairy tale beginning, huh, Prince Noctis?
We let ourselves get carried away.
Look, these things happen.
Let's just hope this isn't some omen.
Gladio, do me a favor.
What?
Push this thing by yourself.
All by myself?
You won't even notice if we just let go.
Pronto? Don't even think about it.
Save some breath for pushing.
Ignis, come on, time to switch.
Nuh-uh. We just switched back there.
And it's my turn, Noct.
His turn.
My hands are killing me.
You rather I kill you with mine?
Easy there, tough guy.
Any luck?
Only a busy signal.
Hold the phone. Is it just me? Or was it supposed to be way closer?
I assure you, the map is correct.
The map said Hammerhead was right there.
Literally next door.
Looks that way. On a map of the world.
So the song that's playing right now is Stand By Me. It's a cover of a song by Lionel Richie, but this rendition is by Florence and the Machine.
Tell that to my left.
Now, had you told me that this song was written specifically for this game, like, had I not known that Stand By Me was a song before this game existed, and had you told me that it was specifically written for this game, I would have believed you, because the lyrics, if you really understand the story and what happens, the lyrics are like a one-for-one. It's almost prophetic. So now your obligatory fan service.
Hey there, y'all kept a girl waiting. Now, which one's the prince? Aha! Hello, Your Highness. Congrats on your wedding.
Not hitched just yet.
Lady Lunafreya's groom-to-be, here in Hammerhead.
Apologies for taking so long.
You best save your apologies for Pawpaw.
Well, that makes you.
Cindy. Sid's grease monkey granddaughter.
Roll her in
Obligatory
while I'm still young.
Sid.
Didn't your daddy tell you? She's a custom classic, not some beat-up old clunker. Prince Noctis.
Yeah.
Prince. Like they took your old man and kicked the dignity out of him.
What?
You got a long way to go, son. And that slackjaw's getting you nowhere fast. She's gonna take a while. Y'all get her in and run along.
Y'all heard him. Let's get moving. Right this way.
So Sid was a good friend of King Regis.
Play the waiting game.
Never liked that game.
Never any good at it either.
King Regis at one point went on a similar trip that Noctis is embarking on now. And Sid was along for that particular ride. Alright, so we finally have control of our characters. Let's go over something real quick. So, I am using mouse and keyboard. I'm playing on PC, obviously, because this is the Windows edition. I'm using mouse and keyboard. I feel like mouse and keyboard actually runs fairly well on this game. I ended up using it for the first time when I started playing on PC, just to see how it feels, and I really, really liked it. It's one of the few JRPGs, especially, that I play without a controller, because I think that the mouse and keyboard actually, the setup for mouse and keyboard is really, really good. So we have some basic gear here. We do have, these are actually modded weapons. I have some modded weapons here. We do have quite a bit of gear that we could swap to. I was thinking about using some of these, but I think what I want to do, honestly, I think what I'd rather do, a lot of these weapons come from like the DLC and stuff like that too. I think I'm gonna like basically only use what should be available to me. We have a lot of extra stuff here. Basically, I only want to use what should essentially be available to me without completing the DLC and what's not, because honestly, it makes you a lot more powerful being able to use other pieces of equipment earlier than you should be able to, though there is some stuff that I would have access to just because it's the Royal Edition. So I think I want to go ahead and use some of that right now. Throw the stamina badge on you. You can get the Warrior's Fanfare, and then you will take the Blitzer's Fanfare, I think. And then you will get the Key of Prosperity. So those are different accessories that come with the Royal Edition, aka the Windows Edition. Stamina badge gives us unlimited stamina, so we can run as much as we want. It's very, very handy. We can also hang from warp points as much as we want. We'll cover that in a little while. Warrior's Fanfare gives us extra Ascension Points when we score a A+, I think it is, in battle. Blitzer's Fanfare is the same thing for time, and then Key of Prosperity allows us to find more items. I think the only outfit that I want to change here is Gladio's. I want to give him the No Jacket because Gladio has enough natural HP that he doesn't really need to fall back on it. So outfits change your stats. The Princess Fatigues gives us a lot more HP. The no jacket gives us more offensive capabilities. The casual outfits designed to defend against stat-reducing status ailments. This allows the wearer to move more freely and land critical hits more easily. That's not terrible. I think I want to go with the Princess Fatigues. No jacket for Noctis here. Just to go through the rest of our menu here. Map and quests is pretty self-explanatory. We don't have access to either of those yet. So Ascension is part of our character progression here. As we complete tasks and level up, we gain what's called Ascension Points, or AP, and we use that to grab these nodes. There's like combat to improve Noctis's power in combat. Techniques is your party members, essentially. I don't know if you were able to hear that. Somebody's logging in and out of World of Warcraft. Recovery is basically self-explanatory magic. Wait mode. Wait mode is kind of unique. I'm not going to use wait mode a whole lot. I don't really like using wait mode. Might be worth using to like get that so he can deal some extra damage. Exploration is another important one because it allows you to actually gain more AP throughout the game. So a lot of these I tend to pick up first, and stats are also super important. Increases your health and stuff like that as you level up. Skills, basically each character, you can look at each character's skill level. Each of the 4 characters have a unique skill. Noctis's is fishing, which is essentially tied to a minigame. Gladiolus is his survival, which Gladiolus has a chance of basically picking up extra items at the end of combat. I'm trying to think if there's anything similar to it, and I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Ignis's is cooking. So there's this camping feature because this game has an open world day-night cycle, and there's this camping feature where you camp. It'll let you level up. And then one of the unique functions of camping specifically is that Ignis can make a meal, which gives you a temporary buff. It's very powerful stuff. And then Prompto's is photography. This is usually the one that gets maxed out first, because photography, Prompto will basically randomly take pictures throughout your adventures, and then every time you rest, you'll be able to see what kind of pictures Prompto took. It's adds immersion to the game. I really like the photography aspect to it, personally. Elemancy is how magic works in this game. So rather than having like spells that you hard cast, like in a lot of other Final Fantasy games, essentially you have this magic flask, and then you gain elemental energy for fire, ice, and lightning. You put a certain amount of that energy into the flask, and then you can throw in an item that enhances the spell. And depending on the strength of the spell, determines how many uses you get, basically. It's a little... This is like the one thing about Final Fantasy 15 that I really dislike. I would prefer you to be able to just like set up spells basically on your quick bar that you can cast. But this is fine, I guess. I tend not to use magic a whole lot, because in most scenarios, just beating down your enemy is a little bit faster. There's some specific scenarios where magic is quite powerful, but outside of those specific scenarios, I don't tend to use magic a whole lot. Items is pretty straightforward. It's just your list of items. Archives is essentially like your journal of everything you've discovered and accomplished. Your bestiary, character information, stuff like that. So there's a lot of I don't remember this being in the original, but it's possible that it was. And then timed quests. So time quests are specific quests that change daily. You go to a specific area, the timed quest begins, and then normally you have like 100 minutes or something like that to kill all of the enemies. Some of them are like ridiculously hard, some of them are fairly easy. And then completing timed quests daily, because they were set daily, allows you to... Oh, I didn't realize that the QP takes over. Anyway, basically it allows you to buy items, exchange quest points that you accumulate for items. So it's kind of like a live servicey sort of thing. They implemented it later in Final Fantasy XV's life cycle. It was added in a later patch. I try and do the QP, if nothing else, for the experience and extra items. Anyway, this recording has been going on for about 22 minutes. I think that's a really good introduction to the game. Gives you a general idea of our characters, the story, where we're at, a lot of the systems that we're going to be looking at. I think we're going to pause the recording here. This is going to be kind of episode 0, just a small introduction. And then we will pick up with episode 1 and actually get to some gameplay. My name is Spill My Finger Guns. I'm really going to be doubling down on making content more regularly. I don't know how often I'm going to be uploading. I want to say I would like to upload once a day, but that's a lot of work. I can't guarantee that necessarily. So I'm going to be shooting for bare minimum 3 times a week. Different projects. I have a bunch of different ideas. Some projects are going to be more, intense than others. I'm going to be starting just to kind of get back into a routine, get back into the swing of things. I'm going to be starting very much with just some general gameplay, this kind of long form gameplay content. Due to the way that I'm recording this, I might, because I have had some requests that some people like just like longer form, just unedited gameplay, but without any commentary. So I'm thinking about starting up a second channel to do that with. I basically just take the same footage and upload it directly without any editing or commentary. Not that I'm going to be doing much editing anyway. I don't like a lot of heavily edited content. Just because I feel like for the viewer it can be very, very confusing to watch, especially depending on the reason why you're watching. Obviously, this is very low-key. This isn't intended for like just the lulz or anything like that. This is just, relaxing, long-form fun. I have said this in previous videos, but I like to keep my style as close to what I want it to be as possible, which seems like a weird thing to say because obviously I can decide how I want to produce my content, but the main thing is that I like it to sort of emulate the feeling of streaming. I would be streaming regularly if it was feasible for me. It's not feasible for me right now due to my internet. I kind of hinted at that at the beginning of the stream, but I have very bad internet where I live. I actually needed to develop a workaround to uploading to YouTube entirely because my internet is so bad. Like uploading one of these episodes to YouTube takes literally like 2 or 3 days of upload time for like a 25-minute, 30-minute video. And it just creates such a strain on my bandwidth, and it completely bottlenecks all of my internet for, 72 hours, which is absolutely insane. We're working on trying to find a solution to that. We'll see what happens. Anyway, my name is Spill My Finger Guns. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already for more regular content, and I really do mean that this time. Apologies for the Discord going off. And I will see you next time as we really crack into Final Fantasy XV. Have a wonderful night.